Next, circulars or notification issued by the CBDT. So it is a very common principle that every department issues circulars to the departmental people. So it is very common thing, and circulars or notifications are issued by the CBDT. So they name a particular circular with a particular number, and they issue the circular to the department. Notifications are also given particular number and they are dated. So the purpose of CBDT circular is to provide guidance to the ITO and the general public. So why do they issue circulars? For example, there are some pressing issues where there is no clarity. So people are not clear about how the issue is to be dealt. So if it is brought to the government, attention of the government, then the government may, in order to clear the doubts, they may issue circulars. So CBDT circular is to provide guidance to the ITO and general public. So these circulars are binding on the income tax officer. It is for internal purpose. Circulars are circulated within the department, and therefore it is binding on the ITO. Whether it is binding on the assessee? No, they are not binding on the assessees, but they are binding on the income tax officers. So they are issued for the guidance of officers and assessees. They are not binding on the assessees, but they are binding on the income tax officers. But the assessees can take advantage of beneficial circulars. So whenever there is a dispute comes, the assessee can quote the beneficial circular to his benefit. So it is not binding on the assessees, it is binding on the ITO. But whenever there is a dispute arises, these circulars could be quoted and they can be, the advantage could be enjoyed by the assessees. Next, case laws and precedents. So case laws, so in most of the, whenever there is a dispute between the assessee as well as the department, it goes through various processes like appeals, a tribunal, courts, etc. So whenever there is a verdict given by the tribunal, court, etc., it can be taken as a standing for other persons also. So the case laws are the decisions of the tax tribunals or courts. Courts here it can mean either the High Court or the Supreme Court. So the case laws are the decision of the tax tribunals or the courts on disputes relating to any aspect of the income tax. These case laws serve as precedents. In case of similar disputes in the future, decision of the court may be used to decide any later disputes. Supreme Court is the apex of the court of the country, and the law laid down by the Supreme Court is a law of the land. Decision given by various High Court will apply in the respective states in which the high courts have jurisdiction. So case laws are the decision of the tax tribunals or the courts. So they are the decided verdicts of the decisions of the tax tribunals or the high courts or the Supreme Court, as a case may be. For what purpose, on what issues they decide on disputes relating to any income tax issue. So these case laws serve as precedents. What is that? The decision could be quoted by the assessees on the dispute similar to that. On a similar dispute, the already decided verdict of the court could be quoted by the assessee as a strong proof. Now, in cases of similar disputes in the future, decision of the courts may be used to decide any later disputes. So, when it is decided by one particular court, it can be taken as a standing, and the basis of the decision can be taken for a similar dispute which arises in the future. The Supreme Court is apex court of the country. So, the final place where they have to go is the Supreme Court. So, it is the apex court of the country, and the law laid down by the Supreme Court is a law of the land. So, whatever final verdict Supreme Court is given, it is a law of the land. Now, let us understand that there is appellate authority, then there is a tribunal, then there is High Court, Supreme Court, etc. So, the highest fact-finding authority is a tribunal, and from the court, High Court onwards, it is deciding only on the question of law. So, the High Court and the Supreme Court decides only on the question of the law. The highest fact-finding authority ends with the tribunal. Therefore, the fact-finding authority is not the court. It only decides only on the question of the law. Now, decision given by various high courts will apply in the respective states in which high courts have jurisdiction. For example, if there is a state like Tamil Nadu, there is a dispute with regard to a particular issue in income tax matter which has been decided by the high court and been given a verdict. Now, 10 years later or 5 years later, when there is a similar dispute with regard to similar conditions and the situation, and when the law with regard to that particular issue has not changed much, when the landscape has not changed much with regard to that particular area in the income tax, then that particular decision of the High Court could be quoted by the assessee. So whenever it is the decisions given by the High Court in that particular state could be used as a point to prove their matter. So the already decided decisions of the courts could be always used by other assessees when they are in the same situation. So it could be used by them, and they could quote that particular decision of the court or the tribunal. Now, so whatever we have seen just now, we can see that the types of taxes are two types, direct tax and indirect tax. Example of direct tax is the income tax. With regard to indirect taxes, we had the excise duty now subsumed into GST. We have the customs duty, we have the service tax and the VAT. So service tax and the VAT is also now subsumed into GST. Now, we'll see the components of the Income Tax Act. The Income Tax Act 1961. So, the income tax rules. Next comes that 1962. Notifications or circulars issued by CBDT from time to time. The judgments and the Annual Finance Act. This is what being summarized. The components of the income tax law is the first is the Income Tax Act, the primary thing. Next is the income tax rules, the Annual Finance Act, the circulars and notification, legal decisions of the courts. Next. Tax planning, tax avoidance, tax evasion. So there is a very thin line of difference between tax planning, tax avoidance and tax evasion. So while some are considered as legal, some are considered as illegal by the government. So if the government itself has given lot of incentives, lot of benefits to the assessors to be used. When used properly at proper situation, it is fine, well and good. The government accepts it. When it is used for the personal benefit of any person, then it is against the law. So the government may take steps. So when a person arranges his financial affairs within the scope of law, very important. When you are, as far as we are within the scope of the law, in a matter that would give him the maximum benefit of various exemption, deductions, rebate, reliefs to reduce his tax liability, it would be called tax planning, and tax planning is legal. For example, a person lives in a rented house in a metro city, so he can take the benefit of the rent paid. So he can if he is a salaried person, he can show his rent to the employer and claim the benefit. So that is well within the scope of law. For example, if a person has paid LIC for a particular financial year, so that could be used as a means of reducing tax liability. So he has to show the proof of tax payment, LIC payment to the employer. So that is it explicitly specified in the law? Yes, law is giving that scope. Laws gives various exemptions, various benefits, various deductions. As far as you are enjoying these deductions, exemptions and rebates and relief to reduce the tax liability within the scope of law. So you have suffered the particular payment, and it is well within the scope of the, and you are claiming that, and then that is well within the scope of law and not at all to be worried. It is called tax planning, and tax planning is illegal. When a person arranges his financial affairs within the scope of the law in a matter that would give him the maximum benefit of the various exemptions, deductions, rebate and relief to reduce his tax liability, it is called tax planning, and tax planning is legal. Next, any device that twists the law or purports to defeat the spirit of the law may be called tax avoidance. So tax avoidance is illegal. Next is tax evasion. On the other hand, is taking resort of various means such as suppression of facts and figures, furnishing false details with a clear intention to deceive. It is a crime against society and is punishable under the law. So any device that twists the law or purports to defeat the spirit of the law may be called tax avoidance, and tax avoidance is illegal. So there is a loophole in the law. and that particular loophole is being identified, and the very purpose of that law being enacted is being defeated when people start using that loophole. This is called tax avoidance, and tax avoidance is illegal. See, it is illegal only, but there is a loophole which the assessee is using to his benefit, and therefore the government's intention is being defeated in this case, and therefore tax avoidance is illegal, and tax evasion is a crime against the society and punishable under the act. Why is that so? Tax evasion, you are fabricating payment, or you are fabricating payment which have not been committed at all. You are giving false receipts. You are giving false payments. You are giving false fabricated figures. Therefore, it is resorting to various means, which is suppression of facts or figures and furnishing false details with a clear intention to deceive. This is when you are fabricating the details. It is only a purpose. That purpose is called deception, and it is a crime against the society and punishable under the law. We see that there is a thin line of difference between tax planning, tax avoidance, and tax evasion. So, tax planning is well within the ambit of law. It is legal in nature, whereas tax avoidance is illegal in nature. The cruel form is called the tax evasion, and tax evasion is a crime against society and punishable. So, there is a very thin line of difference. As far as you are within the ambit of the law, it is called tax planning. When you deviate from it, it is called tax avoidance, and it is illegal. When you are just fabricating only to deceive the government, it is called tax evasion, and it is a crime and it is punishable.